There is this famous TikTok sound that I am hearing, and it goes like, if God exists, it's fucking me. And that's what I've been hearing for a while now. So I'm gonna do a reading about this. If God exists, it's fucking me. Okay. So right away from this saying or from this energy, I'm feeling like I'm connecting to a God complex energy. If God exists, it's fucking me. I think that is from that sound is from Rick and Morty, where in one of the episodes Rick says, if God exists, it's fucking me, because he found like an element. But anyway, I'm connecting to this energy, so I'm gonna go with the flow and see what I get from it. Let's see. I see that you are very wise. You could be Rick for all I know. I'm joking. You are someone that went to hell and back, and maybe twice or 3 times. Like you're basically a regular customer in hell. Satan is like someone that works for you, not that works under you. And what's amazing about that is you are still a light being. So you've gone through hell, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you are still operating in your light. Now there is a bit of arrogance that I'm feeling, even from the if God exists, it's fucking me. Like you're realizing your connection to source, and in that connection you're feeling very confident, and you know that you are so resilient that no matter what life throws at you, it'll be like, ping pong. It's a game I've played a million times. It's something that you've experienced over and over again, where you've gone through situations, possibly bad situations, and you bounce back like the fucking phoenix that you are. And what's really amazing about this is that you maintained your light. You still operate from your light. No matter how much darkness came at you, you didn't fold. You unfolded in so many ways that you started burning so bright, like the fucking phoenix rising from the ashes. And it's a beautiful thing. That can make you arrogant in some ways, and even full of yourself in some other ways. But it is admirable or admirable. It's something that not a lot of people can do. And maybe that's where your God complex comes from. Or maybe that's where your superiority comes from. But be careful with that, because if you think that you are different from everyone else, you become lonely because there is no connection to anyone. And so here is the concept that you should consider. Instead of seeing yourself as different from everybody else, see yourself as you are everybody. And that's where you truly ascend to the God that you claim you are. Instead of saying that, oh, I'm so unique and different, I must be a God. Say that, oh, I am everybody. And that connects me to the source. So I am source itself, and in that I am a God. Because we are all coming from the same source. You, me, them, there, those, that and this. all from the same source, all living. Everything that has a spirit is from source. So the moment you start to shift your mindset to oneness is the moment the arrogance subsides and you see the wholeness in experiencing the source. So your power comes from a great place, which is source itself. And that's a great thing to realize, that nothing can fold you, nothing can break you, nothing can come in the way of changing you if you don't want to be changed. But don't see it as a separation, but as a union. The moment you realize that all is one and one is all, your God complex fades away, but you gain the wisdom of source itself. Because when people of faith, Christians, say that you are created in God's image, that's exactly it. You are created in God's image, meaning your spirit is a make of the same fabric, and I'm talking metaphorically, there is no fabric here, from the same fabric of the source, of its source. You are a cut cloth of the same fabric, and so is everybody else. The only difference is the level and the growth that you are at. And so do not forget where you were before you became who you are today. Because the moment you forget and you start to associate with who you are, 1, you will see yourself as different. 2, you will stop growing. So don't think you are a god and there is nothing beyond to learn, because you basically stop your growth. So when you stay humble, there is no stopping you, because the continuous growth comes from knowing that you don't know it all. And when you have a God complex, you start to assume that you do know it all, and that's when you stop growing. So something to keep in mind, because I see that you are a spiritual being, even if you don't portray yourself to be one. Because at the end of the day, we are spirits experiencing the human life. And sometimes we forget and we think we are above others because they are not on the same level in the human experience as we are, as the ascended beings are. But just remember that people learn at different speeds, and also remember who you were in the past. Because you weren't, maybe you were born remembering, but you forgot at some point, right? And then you started remembering again. So remember your learning experience as much as you remember your learning experience, and have the empathy and compassion for those that haven't made it to where you are now. And in that energy, you also allow yourself to grow even more than where you are now. Okay. So let's continue. Let's see. What else? Because I have 3 cards and I talked for a while. Exactly. There is always room for improvement. If you think you are a god, you basically limit yourself from expanding, because what's better than being God, right? So remember, you are a human. Don't get ahead of yourself assuming things. Work with people. Continue to work with people. The more you isolate yourself because you think that no one understands you or no one is on the same level as you are on, is the moment you stop learning. I said that before, but it keeps coming up now, okay? So I'm going to say it once again. You limit yourself or you limit your growth by thinking that you are above others. Now, if you want to limit yourself, go ahead and, say, I'm good where I am. I don't want to grow anymore. Let's see if you enjoy it for a long time. Because you don't come here as a human to just reach some level and stop. If you have life within you and you learn, you reach certain level and you still got the oomph and the life pumping through you, you still have to continue on learning. It doesn't stop. And sometimes when you don't reach the mastery of life, you get reincarnated every time. And instead of holding yourself back by saying, I've learned everything that I need to learn, and you stop yourself, instead of doing that, because if you do that, you will get reincarnated to continue on remembering again and then reaching the next level. So while you are here and you remember who you are, you remember you are operating in light, and you remember that you are one with Source, continue on growing. Use that to your advantage. I think in Buddhism, there is this saying, don't quote me on that, but what I understand and remember from it is that the reincarnation is basically the punishment, and when you stop being reincarnated is when you become one with the universe, where you don't have to experience life again because there are lessons to learn. So when you get reincarnated, it's not a flex. It's not something you say, hey, I'm back. It's because you have more lessons to learn. So when you don't get reincarnated in Buddhism, that is reaching heaven. That is that's when you reach heaven. Because you get reincarnated until you reach until you master living or learn all the lessons there is in life, and therefore you reach heaven by not being reincarnated as human. And I'm not saying everyone is the same, because some people sign up to be in the human experience to help others. So not everyone is the same. I'm not saying everyone is sent here to help others, nor am I saying people come here to just reach and get reincarnated again and again until they reach heaven, as in Buddhism claim. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to get at? Hopefully I'm making sense. Because I see here that it could, that wanted to come out, the Hermit. So let the level and the wisdom that you have be used in ways where it continuously allows you to grow more. Because if you don't, you will get reincarnated to do the same thing again. And hopefully, next time, you will reach a higher level. You know when you play a game and you die at some point, but you haven't reached all the way to the end of the game, and then you have to kind of restart the game from a checkpoint, hopefully, if you saved the game. That is you remembering who you are. So you start from a checkpoint and then you repeat the same steps until you reach the next checkpoint. And if you imagine life in that sense, you will realize that you haven't finished the game, even if you reach a level where you think you are the energy of Source, because that is just the beginning, let me tell you. When you start to, your first indication should be, if you feel some type of separation from another person, or separation from the other, or people around you, the separation is an indication that you haven't grown enough spiritually. So if you think you are a god, but you experience being a god as a separate entity from others, you know you have failed the mission. Because you need to recognize and realize that we are all that God. Do you see what I mean? And if you reach that point where you recognize everyone is God, but at different levels, sometimes people don't remember who they are. And you can lose yourself in that, and that's okay. But there is no separation. You try to bring out that God within everybody, because that's who they are. Created in God's image, as they say. So the moment you start to feel oneness with everyone else, and also have the empathy and the compassion for the level they are at, then the level that you are at, you start to become in oneness with everyone. Do you see what I mean? So the saying that I started the reading with, which is the if God exists, it's fucking me. It's not the energy that you should carry, the godly energy. Does that make sense? Because if you understand that God is in everything else, or everyone else, or everything that is living, including animals and plants, and the earth in itself is a godly creation. The moment you realize that oneness is when you really truly will be humbled instead of feeling superior. And you will have empathy and compassion for the most idiotic personalities you will ever see walking the earth. Because you will understand that this idiot of a person has potential to remember, and in remembering they connect and remember that they are gods themselves. And now I'm not trying to tell you go out and convince everybody they are gods or they are God. I'm just saying that you should carry this wisdom when you deal with other people, or when you, as a living being, you don't have to go and seek it. You just have to understand it. Because the separation is what's holding you back from leveling up. And in oneness, you will become everything, and everything becomes you. So, don't look down on people, but lend a hand, or at least the understanding that they are just not where you are yet, but they are exactly who you are, which is God itself. Okay? And I'm going to close on that note.